Okay. Welcome back, Matt, to the podcast. Take
Thank you for
two.
having.
Take
Take two.
two.
You going to tell them then?
Yeah, yesterday we tried to record and it didn't work out so well. It was
Complete failure.
a complete failure in multiple ways. Like nothing recorded except for one video with no sound, and the microphone didn't work, etc. Everything. It was just not meant to be.
And what were we discussing exactly?
AI. So the AI is a conspiracy. The AI didn't want us to create that video, so we're trying again. It must
You
be
know
me.
why? You know why they say it mathematically certain we is living in a simulation?
Because the probability is just
Yeah. The probability of we not being in a simulation is 1 in infinity. So therefore, we almost definitely in a simulation.
I
But
don't know.
it's just like a thought experiment. It's not that big.
I mean, thinking about if it is a simulation, then what after, right? But that is some philosophical things that we might have to leave for another time because
I
that wasn't
mean,
the intent.
so I believe we were talking about Dune,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that talking like it was a month ago. It was literally last night, and I believe we were very interested in the idea of why are there no machines and no robots or anything at all, no computers at all, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
And I was explaining that so Dune is set in the 11th millennium, but it's not the 11th millennium AD. It's the
Mm-hmm.
11th millennium after something called the Butlerian Jihad, which was when mankind rebelled against the machine. We don't know actually know how far in the future Dune is. We don't know the start point.
No, this point is roughly no. If it based on the current timeline and current.
So the reason why there are no computers at all in Dune are because they are completely banned. Tech, completely. There are some factions and people that still might employ them, but there are no computers allowed at all in Dune. Not even like a fancy calculator. That's why they have the mentats
Mm-hmm.
who do all the mental maths in place of those computers.
Right, so
Which is,
humans that would do
yeah,
the
yeah.
computing.
Which is similar to when you're talking about, it's similar to Warhammer, because in Warhammer, the Imperium, the main human faction, does not use any AI at all, and when they do use machines, the machines have to be plugged into a flesh and blood person. So you can have like fancy computers, but they have to be controlled directly by a human being, like a cyborg. So yeah,
Yeah, sometimes we have parallels between fiction and reality.
what I mean,
And it makes me wonder, like it is fictional and they created it for certain reasons, maybe for plot purposes, right?
yeah.
But it also makes me wonder if we might follow a similar path because AI right now is advanced, even though it's technically early
Yeah.
in these early AI stages. But the way it works is that it can learn so fast, right? So it can
Hmm.
evolve and become something that's out of control, and then we face the AI apocalypse. And maybe it's not like a
A
robot
conventional
apocalypse.
apocalypse. Yeah.
It's like taking jobs and anything that requires intelligence or even art taken over
Hmm.
by AI. But I said not so much robots, but I saw some videos about they put the AI in robots and the robots now have like human like dexterity, and the speech in it is done like human speech.
Hmm.
So you can see how it wouldn't it's not of too far a
Yeah.
step into where a robot starts taking over
Yeah.
human
So it has like
roles.
no, not like a full as yet, like a Blade Runner-esque replicant, like we say. But the pieces all there, like the pieces all over the place, like the voice, like text to speech, text generation, like what they would say. They have the machines that could move well, like do parkour and thing and fight people. And then like all the pieces, they have like they make synthetic skin that could perceive touch and whatnot. So all the pieces just around the place, scattered around the place,
So
they come together.
that's true. Something I was thinking about today is that AI is very intelligent even as it is now.
Hmm.
But what it does is that it uses what knowledge we currently have.
Yeah.
But what is the potential for an AI actually learning something
But that
new?
is so they talk about AGI, artificial generative intelligence. And they say when we reach that stage, that will be the trouble now. At that point, it's starting to make the own to be fair, the definition had depend on even though because some people say it have an AGI already, some people say it don't. But AGI is the one like basically what like a let's say ChatGPT right now ChatGPT what ChatGPT does it just predicts the next word that would most likely to happen after the word before, and it just keep doing that to generate text, right? The AGI would be more human like, would think more holistically, would think about the whole body or the thought first and then generate it. So,
So what I'm thinking about is that it currently pulls from a pool of information it has, right, or
yeah.
data. But what about when it's able to solve problems without that doesn't have a solution? So like I might ask you a question and it gives me the answer for as far as we as humans understand. Like our research might support something and say literature might say something. But let's say we have a disease and we want to cure it.
Yes.
And AI has pieces of research but no solution yet.
So
Do you think that it can
th- they're
do
already
that?
doing that. They have what they're using. What I mean uses that AI is in research right now to generate new chemicals and new drugs. And yet you know what? There's make the AI making new drugs, and they just had to test them to see if they're working the way the AI expected to. So I mean, we already like I am concerned that we're not fully aware of where we is. Like if like it might be the case where we think the threshold further away, but in reality it's much closer than we expect. Some scientists talk about the singularity, which is when there is people just go call it all kind of thing. The singularity is just when an AI could make an AI that is marginally better than it, and then it can keep doing that. AI make another AI that's better than the AI before, and then that when that cascade, you have your singularity. And some scientists suggest 10 years, but that was 2 or 3 years ago. Some say 2050. Some say it will never happen. So I mean, I would tend to err on the side of the scientists that believe it could happen, rather than the scientists that say it would never happen.
Yeah.
So that is the major concern. But as of right now, the real current concern is that the AI is currently like eroding uh, verifiability, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean.
AI could fake almost anything. Not
Yeah.
as yet.
Well, sometimes I would
Six
ask a
months,
question
yeah.
and it would give me an answer
Uh-huh.
that's not true, but it would
And it
say it
will,
as if it's fact, right? But
yeah.
I know it's not true because I know the answer already.
Mm.
But let's say I need to depend on it to give me an answer for something I don't know about. And a lot of people started doing that already. Like they might do exams or something, or like an assignment using the AI. I might say something that's false, but I realize that the way it works is that if we say it's false and we just assume it to be true, then it's easy to lead down the road where
Yeah.
we kind of lose knowledge.
Yeah. That's,
Things
that's,
get
that's one of
lost.
the, yeah, that's one of the dangers of like, is that I can't remember the exact phrase, like there was our exact phrase, but something like we lose like initiative and drive and thing, and we just come to depend on it too much. And also the ability to fake photos and videos and thing, all them things, like eroding evidence in a kind of way.
Yeah,
Even
I
like
think
last year, yeah.
I think
Even like
so.
last year,
I'm sorry. I was gonna just say Sora. I think Sora is scary.
yeah, yeah. Like even like last year, they show a famous wealthy person something and say, you said this and so. There's a video of you saying this, and he said, no, that's a fake video.
Yeah.
And while that might be the case, that we could confirm that for that specific case, there is a famous case. What happens when it becomes more common and like at a lower level, like we say like a criminal procedure or something like that, and they gain this ability to cast doubt on video evidence or photo evidence, or they become very it erodes that like picture with 1,000 words, but with 1,000 lies, that kind of thing, or one or
Yeah.
two lies in the picture. It's just like it erodes that sort of certainty when it comes to any kind of material evidence on it.
But okay, so going back to how it connects to a will like Dune,
Hmm.
do you think we might end up where we have to ban or restrict AI and have a similar will to how Dune is?
So in Dune, they did ban AI, right? But I expect that much like Dune, if you try that in reality, it will not work. Because in Dune they ban it and people still have it. In Warhammer they ban it, people still have it. And if you try to regulate it too much in real life, I expect they will just find loopholes. They will just work in secret. I don't expect it to work. In fact, it may be the kind of situation where similar to like you say, like just to draw a parallel to like something like marijuana, where if it's legal, you could sort of manage it now. If you ban it and make it illegal, then you sort of force it underground where it have like no regulation at all. But you know, some regulation might work, but you gotta monitor it at a level that I don't believe possible. Like it would be difficult to enforce it, and it's already so prevalent and common and so integrated already. Like many companies already using it for research and to plan out stuff and whatnot. I mean, I don't expect it. And of course, but then big companies comes the money in it. And the other, the money and politics often end up too tied up. EU might try something, but then you guys go somewhere else.
Well, yeah,
Put up a,
because the problem is that if one country bans it, the world is not one,
it's not
it's not
a
one
hegemon.
government. So another government will research and they get the advantage, right? Which is, I guess, why the US is still just continuing with AI
Mm-hmm.
research. Aside from getting ahead, is that someone else is going to get there at some point.
Yeah.
But let's say they do ban. I was thinking maybe
Like, like what would they ban? What could they ban? Technically, like ChatGPT, you can't like really. It would be difficult to ban it. You can't ban it as a whole, but they ban some certain elements of it. But
well, what I mean is like not the use of AI, but the creation of AI. So the creation of AI right now would take a lot of coding, right? So you have a lot of staff, a big company behind that. An individual is not going to be able to create an AI unless we reach the
yeah,
technology where they already have an AI and it's able to, well, like we said, create another AI or something like that.
yeah,
But to create it from scratch, right now, at least, it's not possible for an individual to do.
I don't. It might be because well, the AIs we talking about has scraped gigabytes, terabytes of data, right? But that's not really, that mightn't be how to create a AGI. It might have some other way that we not really grasping. It, I mean, it might be quantum computers, which if it's quantum computers, that should be fine because that's relatively rare and hard to use and expensive. But if it's not quantum computer, if you could do it on like a normal hardware, who knows, right? It could cause problems. Like I watch a video. You might what you would like when I watch a video. Trackmania.
Yeah.
A German guy, he basically trained the AI to play Trackmania, and he make several courses, and it become like mathematically impossible for him to beat it. He say maybe that somebody else could do it, but he can't beat it. He no longer reach a state where he could beat it. And it only take him a couple, maybe say 100 to maybe a couple thousand hours of the computer just running Trackmania over and over. That's a that's relatively simple, but a group of computers maybe who knows? Right? Like I said, we don't know where how far away the threshold of problems really is.
So maybe the impending solar flare might save humanity then by
Yeah,
frying all of electronics.
I mean they would fire satellite and thing, but it would take a massive solar flare to really
They'll just
knock
fry
out
us too
power
then.
and yeah. No, they go knock out power. They can knock out power and thing, but they go. See, you know how EMP does work?
I only know from like movies and games where it
But you know,
just
like,
shut down
but
electronic
you know
devices.
how?
No.
It's a magnetic wave, right? Like multiple magnetic waves. I want to say pass through wires, like in this. Once a magnetic wave pass through copper wire, it will induce a current. And the idea is that, not the idea, but the reality is that when you do when plenty magnetic waves pass through a wire, it will create it will create plenty current in the wire, and it will burn out any circuitry that they connected to now. It will basically like fry it. It will literally like create electricity within the circuitry and fry it.
Okay.
So I mean, it could work, but at that point, might as well delete it.
Okay. I think we went into not a deep dive, but we delved a little bit into AI, and I just wanted to. The talk was really supposed to be Dune. We were supposed to discuss a little bit about
They said
Dune.
Dune and AI.
Well, okay. So I don't know. We talked enough about Dune yesterday. It feels kind of
Yeah, yeah. That was,
strange to go back to
I
talk
was
about
wondering
it.
if you should talk about something else. I could talk about Warhammer for hours.
Yeah, we'll do Warhammer another time.
No,
I
we will do
think
Warhammer
Warhammer is
closer to
bigger.
when Henry Cavill making his show.
Oh yeah, that'll be relevant, right?
It'll check it out.
Okay. So I don't know what else we could discuss
No, well, we could
about.
talk about Dune. We could go back to the Dune, right?
So I might be able to record 20 minutes of footage before my phone
You sure
clog
about
up.
that?
Yesterday was like 20, 21 minutes.
So,
So we might have like 5, maybe 10 minutes
I mean, on the Zoom, or let's get
on my
edited
phone.
out or not,
Hmm?
or let's get it edited out or not, or let's
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
or,
I'll edit this
or let's
out.
behind talk.
Yeah, I'll probably edit it out. I just decide after. Anyway, so give us a quick synopsis about Dune, and we already made the AI connection, but you can maybe tie it into how AI is relevant.
No, well, you're not really relevant at all. But Dune primarily focuses on the kind of mystical powers behind the spice and the ability to basically, it's called prescience, which is the ability to like calculate the future. It's similar to like a mental in a kind of way where you can just like accurately estimate the future. And well, so what we sort of discussed was the two Dune movies that happened already. That was the first book written by Frank Herbert, I believe. I was getting Frank and Brian mixed up. This is very generic names and that sort of way.
Indeed.
And then the second book is Dune Messiah, which will focus on the de facto emperor, Paul Lysan Algaib Atreides, as he basically set a new status quo throughout the universe because
He's
he
a worm.
controls. Huh?
He's a
No,
worm.
no, he's not a worm.
Oh,
But you know why did they worship him?
God Emperor.
No, but you know why they worship Paul? Because everybody get tricked by the Bene Gesserit. Bene Gesserit does create mythology in people and then let it fester. And then
So
if
tricked
somebody,
how?
hmm?
Tricked how?
Oh,
Tricked how?
well, they just like create like they like weaponize religion in a kind of way, and they create like stories that would seem like prophecy and mythology, and then in hundreds or thousands of years after, then they will send somebody to fulfill it now, and people will be like, oh, that's as it was foretold. That's how Dune
Oh, I
works.
see.
The
Okay.
Bene Gesserit set up all that long time, and they just have it. They just have all these plans in like storage for when they need it. So Dune Messiah is about Paul being sort of uh, a villainous, if tragic figure, because despite being so powerful because of his prescience, because he controls spies, because he controls the strongest military fighting force in the Dune universe, he kind of trapped by prophecy and his because he has the ability to see the future. He knows he have a fixed pattern in life, and he just try to adjust it as much as he could uh, to help protect people around him, and he doesn't. And Children of Dune, which is the third book, follows his two children as they suffer their own uh, troubles, and in order to survive those troubles, one of the son does something uh, drastic, and that sets up the fourth book, which takes place hundreds, I believe, almost 2,000 years later, God Emperor of Dune, and that is, you know, those four books is technically the same, like the same story basically, but there's I believe them four books would, if you count like the Star Wars movie, that's the Skywalker saga.
Mhm.
The four books is the trade the Paul saga, Paul and his son.
And where does the half human, half worm come in?
So they in the third book they will explain how the sandworms the sandworms ecology, and they start off not as worms really, but more like kind of flat fish, and they're like very soft, and they just use plenty of water and things. Because water actually very common on Dune. Because you see Dune Part 2, water very common on Dune. Just that the invaders don't have it.
Okay.
The Fremen have plenty of water, endless water, but they just keep it, right? And basically, the idea is if you cover yourself these kind of flat fish thing, like the flat worms, they just integrate into your skin, and they sort of share your biology in a way. It's basically you can turn yourself into, in effect, a worm.
So he wasn't born a worm. He
No,
become.
no. He become one by not by choice, but he had to, yes, because there was in the third book he basically become not dissimilar to Iron Man because he make like an armor out of the young worms and they like harden around him, and the worms basically invincible, right? Like nothing's really hurt them. So and he get like super like very strong, and because he had the worms, he prescience. the ability to see the future was even stronger than as strong as the father. Because remember, in Dune 1, they didn't want Paul, the Bene Gesserit didn't want Paul to be the chosen one. They wanted a few more generations to go along, then to make the chosen one. So Paul's son actually closer to being the chosen one than Paul himself. So his powers pretty strong. So yeah, and he basically like dominate Cherna Dune by the end of Cherna Dune, and that's how he become the God Emperor of Dune, the giant worm thing.
And what is the, and I know that the books are split between the father and son. A lot of people, from what I've seen, consider the father's work canon and maybe not so much the son because the son had a lot more books.
Yeah,
What, as far as you know, is the ending to the story?
there's no ending. They go into the future a little bit, and I believe I can't remember which is the last book chronologically. It might be Frank Herbert might have the last book, but what his son does do is very similar to Christopher Tolkien, where they go backwards and they take what the notes and things that their fathers had and they create books out of them notes. So they have a lot of Lord of the Rings books, not a lot, but it's mostly Christopher Tolkien collect the notes and just sort of make books out of them. And but the son he have another writer that book with him, and they write out these other books. So the Butlerian Jihad and whatnot. He wrote all those books, 20 something, maybe 20 books or so, and he tried to expand the universe a lot. And it have a Dune tabletop RPG recently come out, and it's full of details, and they might they probably draw a lot of those details from uh, Brian Hilbert's books. So I mean, they are canon. They are canon. It's just it mightn't be good, if that makes sense. It could be canon without being good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We had a longer discussion on Dune, but I think
Because
in
we talk about
essence,
we talk about things like FTL and why they need the spice to do FTL.
so
With
if they had AI, right,
uh,
they wouldn't need spice.
I do not believe so. I can't remember the exact details. Maybe they have some element of spice, like they could make it, but it'll be bad or something like that. But they use spice to react faster and to see the future enough that they could avoid obstacles moving at light speed or faster than light. I don't. I can't. I believe it's faster. But only one interesting thing about Dune, every ship in Star Wars have a hyperdrive from a X-wing to to a Death Star. In Dune, they don't have that. They only have big, massive cargo ships that the space and guilds control, and only them could transport from faster than light. So whenever you had to go to like in Dune 1 when they invade Arrakis, the Harkonnen and the Sardaukar, they had to pay the the um the Space and Guild endless money to organize that. So the Space and Guild technically just control all the war. Because if the Space and Guild they just say no, they wouldn't have no traveling doing at all. But they Harkonnen pay the Space and Guild almost all the money. He almost went bankrupt to pay them to ferry all the troops from the the home planet to Dune. And I find that very interesting. But it's a good system. But again, it have a faction in Dune that has ignored that, and they have their own ways of transport people faster than light because they have machines.
Hmm. Sounds interesting.
It is
Um,
interesting. It is a very interesting layer of logistics to Dune because Dune will never have, therefore, any space battles
no, I see.
because there's only one people in space.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'll have to rewatch the first one, which I thought was boring, and
I mean,
then the second one
it,
sounds a
it,
little bit
it might
better.
be not your pacing. You're not saying it boring people. You're just saying it not keep pacing. But it is fundamentally interesting. Like it's a
Hmm.
strange way to approach a sci-fi, like a very brutally grounded in a kind of way, but still like with mysticism and what.
Hmm.
Because every religion in Dune take, like it have like no like sense of real religion in
Hmm.
because even the feminists worship the worm, but at the same time they just like take care of the worm. Like they have like worm hatcheries and things.
Hmm.
They have like little pools with all the young worm and things to take care of them and things. So yeah.
Okay, Matt, thank you for your time. I think we might be well over, and a video probably stop recording by now. But until next time,
All right.
peace out.
Later.